Greetings everyone. The research title for our poster is The Restoration of Community as a Strategy for Loss of Place Identity Due to Gentrification. As part of the Chinatown located in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, there used to be an engaging local community, now filled with the foreigners, and is not well preserved where bits of history and culture chip away with the locals living. Therefore, the following studies are conducted to identify and assess the factors contributing to the emerging cases of gentrification with its impact, as well as identifying ways to restore the community and place identity of Petaling Street. Regarding to the content of the research poster, we have applied 4 different aspects of research methodology, which consists of case studies, virtual site visits, qualitative data, and online websites to access journals, articles, and so on for more verified information.
In our conceptual framework, we focused on the southern side of Petaling Street, where there is a huge issue of gentrification. There are a total of 5 issues on site, in which affects 5 different aspects, all leading to the loss of place identity. The issues on site includes economical inflation, such as high rental costs, and gentrified services or products which majority of the local community are unable to afford. The second issue is the construction of high-rise buildings which are inappropriate and does not fit the site context, contrasting with the traditional shophouses in Petaling Street. There has also been a surge in foreigners such as migrant workers. As they are outsiders, they will not understand the local tradition and culture, affecting the social factor which disregards the original place identity. Repetitive businesses such as trendy cafes or hotels are taking over. It is not sustainable in the long run, which causes Petaling to gradually transform into a tourism spot instead of a cultural community. As technology has improved, urbanization spreads rapidly. This causes new and modern elements to diminish the tradition and culture of the community on Petaling Street. In response to research question 1, place identity is a combination of both tangible and non-tangible aspects or elements with meanings ascribed to places. Based on the studies we have conducted, gentrification will cause exclusion, which consists of symbolic, identity, social-political, institutional, economic, significant social links, and territorial exclusion, all of which contributes to the diminishment of place identity. Now in Petaling Street, traditional shophouses have been overtaken by the surge in new businesses, such as cafes or hotels. The table below helps support our point that Petaling has been gradually gentrifying, transforming into a tourism spot day by day, and displaces the original identity.
Next, we will be talking about 4 main challenges encountered for the restorations of community in Petaling Street, which are local building regulations, incompatible with modern changes, younger generations unwilling to take over traditional business, and land expropriations. Due to local building regulations, Mingler Cafe was forced to remove the original wooden staircase as a safety precaution from fire hazard. This limits the restorations to conserve the place identity. Moreover, local businesses were incompatible with the modern changes and were gradually replaced with the increase of foreigners who are hosting imitation trade around, as well as the rise of hipster cafe and bar trend along Petaling Street, resulting the traditional business less appreciated by today's society.
One of the major challenges is young generation are no longer willing to take on family businesses. This is due to the change of times. This reflects back to our study about 72 years old scissor sharpening craftsman, which used to be flourishing during the 15th century. As time moves on, the next generation have no interest in that industry. Adds on the unprofitability in today's society, therefore discontinuation happens. Nevertheless, land expropriation is a right for government to fair compensate and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation, and resettlement act. Many shophouses are severely affected by this, such as Yeow restaurant. They are unable to continue their business, rather to have to fight for their land. This jeopardizes their business. Moreover, MRT projects were implemented for the purpose of developing city settlement, resulted business in the area have been forced to relocate their businesses and sell their buildings. Moving on to number 3, we will talk about 3 restoration strategies that can be incorporated appropriately to conserve the place identity of Petaling Street. First, rehabilitation. Rehabilitation emphasizes on the retention and repair of historical materials. We studied that Chocha food stall maintained the pastel tiles and raw concrete walls with adding steel structures and partitions.
Other than rehabilitation, we also have reconstruction. Reconstruction establishes limited opportunities to recreate a non-surviving site in all new materials. Lakin Kopi is a cafe in Petaling Street that has gone through reconstruction from an abandoned pre-war building by using new materials. Some changes were made, such as the carved timber ventilation door and window with iron bar and air vents were installed back, and new modern furnitures are installed. This is to preserve the century-old aesthetic. Lastly is restoration. Restoration focuses on the retention of materials from the most significant time in a property's history while permitting the removal of materials from other periods. Our case study shows that Minglet Cafe has undergone restoration because not much have changed throughout the whole building, instead maintained most of the building's original aesthetic. As you can see on the right, there's a restored vintage sewing machine which is converted and reused into a dining table.
In response to research question 4, an increase in modern building environment will result in the diminishment of heritage value of Petaling Street. As heritage areas highlight a special character of the place and representing its roots and identity. With most heritage buildings being replaced by high-rise modern buildings, the heritage value of the site diminishes. This not only affects the urban topography of Petaling Street, but also economical aspect as heritage tourism decreases. For example, before the 1980s, Singapore replaced much of their old shophouses with high-rise buildings and shopping malls. This resulted in a decrease in heritage tourism within the country as they lacked heritage value. Their response was to immediately halt destruction of their historic fabric in order to create a plan for preservation and adaptation of what remained. Similarly, the architectural heritage of Petaling Street will be lost, as most buildings are being renovated and refurbished to have a modern facade and style to conform to the modern society. For instance, this Hong Leong Bank located in Petaling Street has been transformed from a traditional shophouse to a modern-looking shop lot. The physical elements of Petaling Street, such as building facades, are very crucial in constructing its identity and architectural heritage. Without these crucial elements, the place identity of Petaling Street will be lost. With most of the traditional facade and heritage buildings being replaced, there will be a change of streetscape. According to a research, the streetscape influences the behavior of the occupants as well as the human activities within the street. The reason behind this statement is that the occupants' experiences of the space within the street will differ from their previous experiences and memories of the place they call home. Without a clear image with a strong sense of identity, people tend to lose their sense of belonging within the street.
I am going to explain the factors that would bring the community back to Petaling Street. First of all, affordable housing. As rental was increased, the locals are unable to compensate and sustain with high living costs. Since the rent-controlled properties are more affordable for business owners, they might be more motivated to run their business at a low cost. Occupancy rate can last longer also. Secondly, we should encourage the growth in town. The development of business can thrive on a walkable main street and families can live close to their daily destinations. Supporting walking and biking can help reduce air pollution while saving costs. Next, a positive development model should be built. A new vision community could benefit all residents. This could bring different groups to the same table. Identifying a shared interest and common struggle is the key to ensure development that empowers entire communities. Lastly, the building design should meet the socio-economic needs of the community. More thoughtful and innovative design can be added to attract more populations. In conclusion, these cases show that new members decide to move there and begin to change the existing urban structure towards their requirements. It involves a social change, a physical change in the housing stock, and an economic change in the land and housing market. If gentrification projects continue to be implied without taking account of cultural heritage, not only the identity of one district, but also the identity of the city and the nation will be demolished.
This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.